It is the 26th of April. We're down here at the Corwell playing fields, home of the Corwell Little Athletics Club, and our Sunday run is going to be basically a marathon this morning. I'm going to do 105.5 laps of the grass track here, and just see how it all goes. It's not about the time, it's just getting out there and having a bit of fun, but putting a bit of hurt in the legs at the same time. So I was heading over to the start area at the moment. I'll put my drink bottles at what will be the finish line, and then head over to the 200 metre mark. The intention is I'll change direction every 25 laps, and probably take on fluid every 4k or so. But we'll see how things go. Plans can always change. Hope to have some fun out here. I will report in about every 10k or so and give updates. So I'm here at the 200 metre mark, which will be the start line. It is for lane 1. My shoes are already drenched from the frost that's been drying on the grass here, but anyway, we will open up the watch and kick off for 105.5 laps of fun. And just gone through 10 kilometres, 25 laps, so we're now going in the reverse direction for another 25. Still quite comfortable. A little bit of a breeze, isn't too bad. It's not hot, sun's poke through. I'll continue on. 80 laps to go when I get to the finish line here. And that's 50 laps at 20k. So we're going back in the normal direction again. Still feeling good. Cloud cover's quite good now, though the breeze has picked up, which is making a couple of the streets a bit awkward, but anyway, we're over 50 laps. Continue on, check back in at the virtual halfway mark of 30k. And that is 75 laps. I've ticked over 30k, and what are we at? In the 212 range. A bit faster than I expected, but anyway, still cruising along. This is where the marathon begins, after 30k. So I expect the pace to probably fall off the cliff in the next 3 or 4k, but endurance wise I'm cruising, so we'll keep going. Just gone 75.5 laps, 30 to go. Okay, that's the ton 105 to 100 laps. Oh, I'm losing it. 5.5 to go. 40k. Pace wise I'm off the cliff, but endurance wise I'm still killing it. So tick over 5 laps, just over 2k. I'm gonna get it done. We've got half a k to go, coming down the home straight. We'll have 1 lap at the bell. Ding 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 ding. This has been tough. 300 to go. I just about had it, but we're almost there. Getting it done. That's 42k. Home straight. Here we go. Well, I'm back in the car. It's getting a bit windy and cool out there, so I'll start to seize up anyway, but absolutely smashed it. I'll show you my watch. There's the time, 3:08 and 42 seconds. I was about 93 through the half, so I didn't fall off the cliff too much. That last lap that I recorded, I was all over the shop with about 300 to go, but at that stage, who cares? So I'm really impressed with the effort, given that I'm not marathon training or anything at this point. So we'll see how things go later in the year, depending on what events are on or off. And it's a good guide of where I'm at. You know, over the 42 and a bit K. And I'll do a bit of a blow-by-blow report a bit later today. So a few hours post my marathon run on the grass track this morning, I've actually pulled up pretty well after it. Normally I'd be a bit more beaten up in the legs, but my legs have actually not as sore as I thought they'd be. I'm walking around pretty well. The idea of doing the marathon on a grass track, 105.5 laps, came to me about a week ago, and I just thought, why not? On a typical Sunday, a very base run would be 3 hours on trail and hill and all that. The course that I would have run if I hadn't done today's run would have been rolling terrain, and it would have been somewhere in the vicinity of 34 to 35k. I'm not too sure on the distance because I don't track the mileage. So I thought I'd do it on the track and just see where I'm at. So I started about 7 a.m. in the morning, and the idea was to run 25 laps in and then change direction. So I did that 4 times across the run. I took off and I thought I was running relatively conservative early on, although the pace was actually quicker than I expected it to be. So I went through 10k. I think it was 43:53 or something. It was just under 44 minutes for the first 10k. It was comfortable. It was fine. It was still overcast. The sun was poking through a little bit, but there was very little breeze. Turned around, ran 25 laps in the opposite direction, got to 20k. Going through 50 laps, I thought, gee, this is going to be a long slog. With still 55 and a bit laps to go, but it was still comfortable, and I felt completely fine. I wasn't hurting or anything. Pace was comfortable, and I didn't feel fatigued at all at that point. I went through halfway in around 93 minutes and thought, gee, this is a bit quicker than I expected, but we'll see how we go going through the virtual halfway mark of 30k. I got to around 25-ish k, which was 62 and a half laps, and thought things are starting to turn. This might be where the run turns and it starts going into the negative. But it didn't end up doing that. So I got through 30k in 2:12 and something. I think it was in the 30s. Didn't take too much notice. Still felt comfortable endurance-wise, but I figured at that point, as I'd mentioned in my video at the time, that it was probably within the next 3 to 4k that the pace would drop off. Sure enough, it was between 33 and 34k that I started to drop probably a few seconds a k, and then I think it went outward to about 10 seconds a k by the end, which was perfectly fine. I had no expectations really time-wise coming into it, so it was just a matter of seeing how I'd turn out. Got to 100 laps, which was 40k, and for some reason I thought, okay, I've got 5.5 laps to go, and I just happened to get another burst of energy, and I believe I started running a lot better. My technique improved, and I believe the pace improved at that point in time. And so I got through it in the end. It was probably over the last 300 meters. My technique was just complete rubbish, but by that stage, didn't really care. Ran through the finish, and to my surprise, I ran 3:08:42. Now, the track was wet, just from the frost overnight. But it wasn't slow at all. It was actually quite good. So I was really surprised that I had run 95, 96 minutes for the second half. So I didn't fall off the cliff as much as I had expected to in the second half, given the pace that I was running early on. So it was showing some good signs moving on into the future. The wind started to play a bit of havoc between 30 and 40k. It was the gusts picked up probably 30 to 40k an hour, which didn't make life overly fun going down the straights, but it just made you work a little bit harder, and I was quite happy to keep pushing and get to the intention of completing the run. So overall I was really happy with it, and I thought, gee, 3:08:42 on a grass track, running solo with no marathon prep at all, speed or training or anything like that, just running it just based on current fitness. Showed good signs for the next time that I run a marathon, which was going to be the Melbourne Marathon, but we've just got to see how things go with the current climate and whether events come back on board, and other sporting events, and the world goes back to some form of normality. But yeah, that's basically how the run went. I don't intend on doing something like that for quite some time, but it was a good test, and it was something unusual for me to do, but I'm glad I did it, and I will continue on with my ultra running and focus on my next event in a few months.